and Eibhlin.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks, Julie, and thanks for reminding us to record it.
Exactly, a subtle reminder.
No, down.
After all our it's lovely to be here, and actually we're probably the only people who have done this where there is two of us in the same room, but we're allowed to do it because we're married and all that good stuff. By the end of this we may not be married, but anyway, let's see how it goes.
We'll be socially distancing.
So the Resiliency Hub, and thanks for the lovely introduction. So part of what we wanted to do today is show you some of the coaching tools that we use in the Resiliency Hub. And we're very lucky that there are two of us. And a lot of coaching tools don't tend to use two people when they're coaching. So it's quite a different way of coaching, and it's a different style that we use with parenting coaches, coaching parents, in organizations you can use it. But we also use it just on a one-to-one basis, sometimes if there's something that's stuck. So as Julie mentioned, we're Ian and Eibhlin. Between us, we have probably about 18 years of combined coaching. I had a coaching business back in 2004, which I set up in the last recession. So we tend to actually work our businesses in recession. So let's see how this goes. So the basic premise in the next hour and the basic premise of our coaching is the thought-feeling connection. So Ian's going to share the slides now because we're going to actually explain what we mean by the thought-feeling connection, because it's probably a little bit simplified. But basically all of our feelings come from thought. So what we're going to do today is try and break through the understanding that most of us use is when there's a problem that we're trying to break through, we forget about our ability to wonder. And in fact, if any of you were like me as a child, I used to daydream. And I was recently coaching a young girl, and we were trying to show her how she still has this imagination and wisdom comes through when she's actually just in a quiet mind. And I said, do you ever actually daydream? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, that's you wondering. But actually what we tend to do in life now is we think with our problems are made up through our thoughts. And then following that, we try and solve our problems with our thinking. The same thinking that created those problems in the first place. Now, we don't have enough time to go through all of that today, but what we're going to do is just show you the live example when you see it in action. So in order to show you a very quick example of our thought-feeling connection, we're going to move on the slides. And you're going to see this picture. So last night as I was going to bed, and please move it on, I can't even look at it. So last night when I was going to bed, I went into the ensuite and there was a spider. Now it was literally 10 times bigger than that spider on that screen. And I completely freaked out. And of course I didn't tell Ian what was going on, and I couldn't get the words out of me. And that is the perfect example. Now, he was the hero and he came in and he removed the spider, and I'm sure it's up there again because it was so big, it would have gotten its way back in. But it's the perfect example of the thought-feeling connection. I can't even look at that picture without reminding myself of the fact that this tiny little spider was putting all of those feelings inside me. And most of them were made up. And even when the spider had completely disappeared, for that person who joined in, they're wondering if they're in the wrong call. You're not. It is the Dirty Salad Club, and we are talking about spiders. So I could nearly feel the spider when I was still lying in the bed 10 minutes later. You know, the feeling where you kind of still think it's there. So that's a really vivid idea and demonstration of the thought-feeling connection. So what we're going to try to do today is remove our thinking out of where we want to go in life. So if you go down to the next slide, and please remove the spider. So whatever everybody's looking for is a silent mind. And what we're going to do is look at that with Julie as an example, because it's always good to give a live example. So culturally, we're not designed to wonder. So we're just going to show you a little bit how this actually works. So Julie, what we've asked Julie to do in advance, but we don't know what she's going to come up with. So what we've asked Julie to do is actually just come up with something that's probably bothering her a little bit, or something that actually is an area of her life that she's looking for clarity in, or there's an obstacle. And then she's going to describe that to us in about a minute, minute and a half, 2 minutes, Julie. And then Ian and myself are going to wonder. So we're taking it from her. So we're making her problem or her problem statement, we're making it impartial to her. And we're just going to wonder and wonder. And the beauty of it is we don't know what Julie's going to come up with. So we hope that hopefully it's not over 18s or anything like that, Julie, and it's something with the group. So we're going, and then what we will do is we will check in with Julie to make sure that we understood and that we have no other questions. And then we will wonder for about 5 minutes. It's like as if Julie's not here. So she's going to be, it's like she's gone off to make a cup of tea and we're just going to wonder about Julie. But she's going to be here and she's going to be listening to us. So she's going to be listening to this impartial take on what she is perceiving as a problem made up with her thinking. And then we will go back to Julie and we'll say, Julie, what did you hear there? And what's fresh and what's new? And when we've done that, then we're going to break out into breakout rooms for 30 minutes and hopefully the maths will work out and that we'll get nice little groups of three. And we'll go over the instructions just before we join those groups and see how we go. So over to you, Julie, putting you on the spot, kind of. And if your problem is doing this right now, well, that could be it. Over to you. So we'll give yourself about a minute and a half to 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So yeah, I had a little bit of a think of, what's been going on for me at the moment. And I think that's something I want to do is to improve my physical and mental well-being in this situation that we're in at the moment. So some of the things that I would have previously relied upon, such as meeting up with friends or, going to the gym regularly or, planning holidays or going traveling, they've all been impeded. I've had, video calls with friends. I do some home workouts, but I am definitely finding it hard to stay motivated and maintain healthy behaviors. Like, for example, I used to never watch TV during the week, and now it's a daily thing. And at the start of lockdown, I remember feeling like I had more time than before, because I wasn't commuting. But now I'm kind of feeling, no, where does that time go? So I had a bit of a think, and I'm thinking, well, I think I'm, working a bit later, I'm not maybe setting as many boundaries. It's not like I've left the office. And then also I've just been wasting time on social media, which again, I think could be you're kind of wanting to connect to people nearly because you're kind of, what's everyone else saying or doing? So I think that's why I'm kind of wasting time on that. So yeah, like I said, notice myself not really setting boundaries as clearly as I would have maybe in the past, and then I'll just keep working until I feel absolutely exhausted at the end of the day. I will say though, I do think that I've reasonable kind of psychological coping mechanisms. I suppose you'd say, I would hope so, because you're a psychologist, but like in terms of my ways of thinking about things, like I can be optimistic and flexible in my thinking. If I kind of have that belief in myself that I can overcome challenges, I don't see them as permanent stressors that are, going to affect my life forever. But in some ways, that's almost more frustrating because I know what I should be doing. I know what I should be doing differently, but I'm not doing it. And I'll often start the week and go, okay, this week's going to be different. And then the motivation just sort of wanes as the week goes on. Another thing as well that I have been noticing is, hearing and feeling a lot of different conflicting things, so like people will say, oh, but it's fine to, take days off. Don't be hard on yourself if you're, not exercising all the time, or if you're not eating perfectly healthy, that's fine. And I'm like, yeah, it is fine. I don't want to be too hard on myself. But then on the other hand, I'm saying, I don't want to keep giving myself a pass, because then I'll just allow unhealthy habits to form and continue. So that is where I'm at the moment. Do you have any particular questions on that?
No, I think it's absolutely brilliant one. It's so generic. I picked up quite a bit there. I don't think I have any questions. What about you, Ian? Do you have any questions?
No questions. No. Yeah.
Okay, so Julie, you're making that imaginary cup of tea, and Ian and myself are going to wonder for about 3 or 4 minutes, because we want to kick off the groups before 20 past. So you just don't listen.
Myself.
You listen and sometimes take notes. I mean, it is recorded, so you're going to hear this, so you're going to get your own one if this is useful. Okay, so the first thing is, we're imagining that there's nobody here now.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to ask is, I wonder, does Julie realise how many rules that she's making up in her mind?
Yeah. I wonder why she's putting so much pressure on herself.
I wonder, is she actually putting pressure on herself?
I wonder if she's thought of any creative solutions.
I wonder, what would she do if she just let her mind be completely calm? Would she know the answer?
I wonder why she's been so hard on herself.
I wonder where the whole wasting time, like who decides what's a waste of time?
I wonder if she just not using the time to the best of her ability to just be and be in peace instead of making up all these things to do.
I wonder, is that possible with all the stuff that's going on and that we listen to?
Yeah. I wonder if she's suffering from COVID fatigue.
Yeah. I wonder if COVID hadn't happened, would she be looking at this area of her life?
I wonder if she has looked at this area of her life. Is she prone to looking at this area of her life?
I wonder why we compartmentalize everything. Because even as Julie was describing it, she had like groups of stuff, you know, like little grids. We're all made up in grids.
Yeah.
We're not really.
I wonder, did she go and make herself a cup of tea?
I wonder, was it a mint tea? Or was it one of those toxic teas with loads of sugar and stuff?
I wonder if she eaten properly.
I wonder how many people Julie listens to and takes their ideas on board, but forgets that she knows her own answers.
Yeah, I wonder if she's just confused by the whole thing because she has too much information going on.
Yeah, I wonder, does Julie actually know that she's probably doing the right thing every day for her? But then when she starts thinking about it, it becomes wrong or right, and then there's a new categorization.
Yeah. I wonder, has she looked at other areas that she could, that would help her other than just physical pursuits and meeting friends?
Yeah. I wonder if she was to start fresh tomorrow, if you could be a newborn baby and she could be a newborn baby tomorrow, what would she be doing? She'd probably be chilling and relaxing and not worrying.
Playing.
Playing.
I wonder does she play?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea, and that's the concept of wondering. And we probably gave it a little bit less time, but I suppose what we just ask you then, Julie, over to you. What did you hear fresh or differently in that?
Yeah, there was a couple that I really liked. I think the one that stuck out for me a lot was, I think it was you, Ev, that said, I wonder how many people she's listening to and taking in, opinions from when she actually has the answer or knows herself. And I was like, oh, I was like, yeah, that's actually so true. Because sometimes I kind of say, oh, if I say, for example, oh, I didn't work out today, and someone will go, yeah, that's fine, it's okay. And you're like, yeah, it's fine. And then another part will go, no, but it's not fine. And then you'll get all these different, yeah, absolutely. It's like, why am I taking on all these different perspectives and opinions? And I liked as well that kind of, even you said, like, what would you do? If she was a newborn baby, what would she be doing? Starting fresh tomorrow. And again, I suppose that reminded me, like, each new day, you can set a new intention or a new way of doing things. It doesn't have to be, oh, well, because you did something yesterday, that's what tomorrow's going to be like, So those are the ones that really, really stuck out for me. But I think there was a lot of other really useful insights, what makes it a waste of time. And I think there was just a lot of different things that maybe kind of just reminded me of, like, how are you, like, the story that I'm creating about my behavior is what makes it good or bad. So that's what I got from that anyway. So I found it really useful.
Well, you were very, very good. You were a very, very good, what would we call you? I was going to tell you a tester, but anyway, we won't call you a tester.
Guinea pig.
Guinea pig. I was trying to
a great guinea pig.
So the instructions are up on the screen now. So if you could just remove the box. So the instructions are, we're going to now put you into breakout rooms of 3, and I was just trying to do the maths there, so we're going to do 7 rooms of 3. And each participant will have an A, B, and C. If you don't want to do this, because you'll be a half an hour, because everybody's going to get a go, just don't join the room, and we'll do the maths afterwards. Myself and Ian will be last to go in. So each participant will get a chance to describe their obstacle. So you decide amongst you who's A, B, and C. You'll get to describe an obstacle in any area of your life, exactly like Julie did there. And then the other two, so the A will describe their obstacle, the B and C will listen. It's actually a really good one for checking out your listening skills as well as coaches or psychologists. And then your A will start to wonder. You'll do the feedback to the group exactly how we did it there. We're going to have 3 10-minute sessions, so we should finish back here at 10 to 12. And we'll do a little feedback to the group. What did you see? But actually, to the best of your abilities, I would suggest that you do something that's real to you, because everything is confidential in this group. And the breakout rooms will not be recorded. So you're in a safe environment, so you're just with your triad. So we're going to do the maths, and we'll come back here just to let you know that if you have any questions, pop them into the chat, because we will be monitoring the chat box and we will be able to actually answer any questions. So Ian has you nicely categorized into
there is 9 rooms, so you're going to go into 1.
I'm going into 1.
Yeah. So
Brilliant.
I'll pop in and out. I don't think I'm going into 1. And yeah,
Okay.
so just as the best you can do. No, there's no judgment. It's just a wondering.
Great. Okay, so we go into the rooms.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good on. So now I have to go into the room. I'm in a room. and we will actually do our 1 word. So you get a special one. Pardon? Hello, welcome all back.
Hello.
Yeah, lovely to see you all. Well, you're actually all still alive, so obviously it went well. Very good. So there was a little bit of navigating at the beginning because people dropped in and out of rooms, and we ended up with a room of 2, which I joined and Ian joined 1. But actually, I think it all balanced out in the end. So look, we have 10 minutes. Well, maybe we've about 7 minutes because I want to just also introduce next week's speaker. So anything that somebody wants to share about the tool, the technique, what you enjoyed, didn't enjoy, saw differently.
If you want to unmute yourself and just speak up.
I'm happy to share.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
So hi everyone, Celine here. Because I have done this exercise before with you, Ev, and with Niamh if she's there, and I was the one who had shared my issue and was being wondered about. So I've never got to be on the wondering side. And I think that while you're wondering about somebody else and their situation, like you can see so many crossovers. Like it doesn't matter what their situation is, you can see so many crossovers between the other person and yourself. And even as you're wondering, there's stuff to take for yourself as well as facilitating that person's wondering. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very good. Such a valid point, Celine, isn't it? But then we have to get out of our own ways as well, because sometimes we start to get in our own way with our own thinking. Anything else that anybody wants to share that came up fresh for them? They saw. Would you use it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting into the swing of it there, but my time ran out, unfortunately, on that. But no, it was really, really good. And the 2 girls I was with, I think, got a lot from it as well. So definitely it's it's huge. Very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it definitely is. And up at the top, I think it was
Jason want to.
Yeah, hi guys, how are you? That was great.
Brilliant.
I think for me, what really nailed home was, I suppose it just really brought up that whole curiosity and that idea behind coaching of if you had that attitude and I suppose that principle of just being inherently curious, and I think it gives you a very nice template and a very nice way to kind of, I suppose, almost to force yourself consistently to go, I wonder, and it's very interesting what came up. I think all of us found it very, very useful in a very short period of time, like in a very intense, I suppose, coaching situation. Thanks very much. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jason, hi guys, it's Niamh here. Jason, I'd add to that, in our group, we actually had a very brief kind of couple of sentence discussion around, it was lovely to wonder with no judgment. It was really open exploration going on. So it was great.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Niamh.
I'm another Niamh, sorry. There seems to be a lot of Niamhs on today because we had 2 Niamhs in our group. So we were lucky. We had Julie in our group. So myself and the other Niamh got lots of time because Julie had run out of, hadn't got something else. So it was great. But one of the things we found was that it worked really well on Skype or on Zoom, which, given that we're all moved over now to, online coaching or mostly online coaching, that it's a lovely exercise that you can pull one of your fellow coaches in for, just 10 minutes, and that person can then leave and doesn't know any of the backstory and can just wonder openly. So we felt that it was something that would be so easy to do online, and could be very helpful, as opposed to in the traditional way when we were face to face with somebody. It might be hard to bring somebody else in for 10 minutes. So really, really enjoyed that. Thanks.
Yeah, and it is, you're right, Neve, because we tend to follow our typical ways of doing things and we're adapting them online, whereas there is fresh thinking. If we were to do a wander around our coaching tools, we probably would find fresh thinking. I joined Maeve, and it was just the two of us on our own because Ian had to pop into a room because we were trying to match everybody up. And myself and Maeve had one, but what I did was, in the beginning, I was looking at her because it was just the two of us and I was wondering, but actually I just stopped looking at her and I was still able to wonder on a one-to-one basis, because I just imagined she wasn't there and I allowed myself to go. And it was better, I wasn't looking for her reaction. And I think that that's really important, because typically in coaching, we're responding to reactions and we're feeding off each other in responding to those reactions. And it just doesn't allow the essence of what's coming with our wisdom and our wondering to come through. So that's pretty lovely too. Okay, so conscious, we've 2 minutes left. Anybody with anything burning to share? Oh yes, Nadia.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I thought it was so lovely to do, especially because often as a therapist or a coach, or you feel you need to come up with an answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas it's so lovely just to, even for myself, the exercise, to be left with the questions and just wonder and keep wondering until maybe the answer will come by itself, you know,
Lovely.
because there's a lot of value in just obviously just wondering and leaving all these questions, because the question already has such a huge impact, and not have to come up with an answer.
That's brilliant, actually. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you very much. And thank you to my two girls in the group.
I'm going to share the slides now because we just want to show who's up next week. We're very conscious to finish on time because everybody else is very good at doing this. And thank you very, very much. It was great, I have to admit. It's lovely to see it in a live situation like this. The Resiliency Hub, we've set up the Resiliency Club, and part of the idea is to actually allow more and more of these type of engagements, even if we're just doing them ourselves as a community. So really, we are both really grateful for Julie and Kinch Lines to allow us to do this, because it's just something that's been burning in our heads for a while. So next week is Tanya Hudson. Hers is going to be particularly interesting because it's on my birthday, which is the 10th of June at 11 a.m, but I will be up. And it's shining a light on the dark side of leadership. And it sounds fascinating, because sometimes as leaders, there is a dark side, and sometimes it's actually exaggerated in difficult times. So I'll be joining that one, and that's the same time.
I know what to get you for your birthday now next week. A ticket to the
to the Kinch Lines. So listen, thanks very much. It is 12 on the dot. We'll hang around for a few minutes if there's anybody who wants to ask any questions, but goodbye and thanks.
Thanks, really, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, Evan, Ian.